Refuah we founded in 1994, and the idea was to teach various ways of healing. And we've been teaching people communication skills and how to help people by counseling and coaching. And now it's going very nicely. We're able to give classes that are two-way interactive, audio-video, over the internet, and it's great. It is Torah-based, but I'm also very much integrating everything that comes from Torah with the modern technology. All the tools and methodologies that are proving themselves end up, when you look at our Torah tradition, they're the same. You know, truth is truth. People have been counseling and coaching and praying and meditating and helping each other for millenniums. And our tradition, I've learned it through not only the Torah literature, but through the Torah teachers, the Torah greats. I've been privileged to be close to some very great masters of teaching in our Torah tradition. One was a Hasidic master known as the Amshon of a Rebbe. People have probably heard about Rebbes like the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Well, there was another Rebbe known as the Amshon of a Rebbe from Poland, who came to live in Israel in the 50s. Unbelievable, great person, very sweet, very holy, very accessible. And I was very fortunate. I came to teach at the medical school in Jerusalem, and his synagogue happened to not be far away. So I met this sweet, holy Jew who adopted me, so to speak. I got to sit in on hundreds, literally I sort of made a calculation, it was over 1,000 hours of sitting in with him while he was counseling people. And people would have this intense experience of being counseled or coached by him, and I just got to watch. What's been developing over the last years as being a good approach to counseling, it's not the old-fashioned Freudian psychology and so on, which has been pretty well discredited and shown to be not very helpful. What's being scientifically and evidence-based shown to be helpful fits very nicely with what we've been practicing in the Torah tradition and these rabbis' traditions that they've gotten father to son over generations of a few thousand years. It's amazing how it all comes together, so it all integrates for me. My job, in a sense, is to be able to help pass that on, to communicate it, to be able to use the modern language and technology to share what I've learned, both from the Torah world and the scientific world, to people who want to learn to help others. Giving people advice is not the most helpful. You're facilitating their search, their growth, their development. And once a person finds the answer for themselves, it's 1,000 times better than if you give them the answer. So they're learning how to find the answers, and they do find them. And then we're supporting them to carry it out. Most of our people are probably in the late 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, but all ages and all backgrounds. And some have training, some don't. The criteria is that they have the desire to do this work. They have this empathetic, compassionate concern for people. That they basically, one of our mottos is V'ahavta recha kamocha, you should love your neighbor as yourself. That they have this loving desire to help people. So we train people to build that relationship, but they don't need to come with a lot of specific training. As a matter of fact, it's sometimes easier to start with a clean slate than to start with somebody who's got a lot of their, as my wife calls it in French, professional defect. They've already been trained to be cold and distant. Well, we don't think you should be cold and distant. We think that you should be very real and very present and very warm and very caring. And what's kind of amazing is people who don't have background learn what they need to learn, and people who have a lot of background claim they learn even more because they're already on the level of being the vessel or the capacity to absorb even more of the fine points. So it somehow works, and those that are more experienced help guide those who are less. And it's fun to see that we can help that integration of a spectrum of people work together and learn together. Judaism and Torah is how to live life better, so it's there, every bit of it. I think it's all framed in the concept of we have our guidance from Torah, we have our responsibility to God. I think everybody shares the same core values that we all want to be good people. We all want to be kind and loving, and we all want to have a peaceful home. So I think that's taken for granted. The skills of how to accomplish it is what we're teaching. We are maybe encouraging and supporting and helping people to practice being good-hearted, which goes back to being, kind and compassionate and modest, which goes back to V'ahavta recha kamocha, loving your neighbors yourself.
If you would like to become a certified coach, please contact the Refuah Institute's professional coach and counselor training programs. Our United States phone number is 646-395-9613. That is 646-395-9613. Our Israel phone number is 02-571-5112. That is 02-571-5112. Our email is refuahoffice@gmail.com. That is refuahoffice@gmail.com. Please also visit our website, www.refuah.net. That is refuah.net. Thank you.